TikTok, morning Facebook, morning YouTube. How are we all? Are we all good? It is Friday, the 25th of July. Yes. Last Friday of July. Guys, next week. This Friday? Well, Friday next week. We're in August. August! What's going on? Last Friday of July. Hope you're all good. Where are we at? We are, where are we at? We're on Friday. Last day of the working week for many of us, hopefully. Not for me, I do work tomorrow. I'm probably going to be doing a bit of work Sunday, actually, this week. But anyway, we're getting towards the weekend. Whether you're working over the weekend or not, it tends to be what we do or what we work for. Anyway, hope you're all good. Hope you've all had a good week. If I've not seen yet, if you only follow me on Facebook or YouTube, I wasn't on yesterday. I was on yesterday, but I was only on TikTok because I did 2 lives. But I was sat in the car. So I was here doing social media lives, but I wasn't on Facebook, YouTube. I can't do the triple stream in the car. I can only do it when I'm sat in the office. And this is possibly not the last live of the week. Normally, this is the last live of the week. Sometimes I jump on and try and do a little afternoon live. I'm not doing today. I haven't got time. I've got quite a few bits and pieces to do, and then I've got to take Rachel at about 5 o'clock. She's going out this evening. She's going out with some friends. We're going to have tea and a couple of drinks. So I am taxi, and then when I drop her off, I'm nipping to a mate's for an hour. Might get a bit of tea. And then that's it. So I'm not doing time. But tomorrow, because Rachel is going out for a few drinks, there is a very good chance she will not drag her carcass to the gym in the morning. And if that is the case, then I'll go a little bit earlier to the gym in the morning, and I'll do a live in the car, just on TikTok. It won't be on Facebook or YouTube, before I go and do my spin class. I've just done spin this morning. Got back about 40 minutes ago. Absolute brutal class this morning. Great, very good class, but absolutely knackered. I'm knackered this week. No rhyme or reason for it. I just feel a bit more tired. Why? I'm not going to look into it. It's very, very rare. I'm overly tired. I think I went out last weekend and had a few beers, so that's probably a bit of a knock-on effect. Also, I've not been sleeping great at night this week. I had quite a lot of vivid dreams this week. Don't know why. A lot of vivid dreams. And we've been up very, very early this week. So just a combination of a few things. I'm just overtired. But when I teach a class, I just kick in. Like yesterday, I went to the gym and I just could not be bothered. I couldn't be bothered at all. I sat in the car doing a live yesterday morning and I was literally like, go home, Neil. When I finished the live, I was like, just go home. You're going to do yourself no good. And sometimes we have to listen to our bodies and just go home and walk the dogs for an hour instead. Right? And I didn't. I pushed on and I went to the gym. And I'll tell you why I didn't listen to myself. Because sometimes I'll feel like that and I'll go in the gym and it'll be an amazing workout. But I went in there 20 minutes in. I was like, forget this. I'm out of here. And I did. But you know what? Every now and then it's all right. I'm still a bit tired today. But as soon as I got that spin class, it was a packed class. There was a lot of people in there this morning. That always buzzes me up anyway. I love group instructing and I love doing it when there's a lot of people there. So was on it this morning. So I smashed a great workout. Did about 650, 700 calories in 40 minutes, 45 minutes. My watch says that. I didn't burn that many calories. Watches are always a little bit, optimistic when it comes to calculating those calories. This is a weight loss live, guys. If you've got any weight loss questions whatsoever, please fire them in. I'm going to have my pink lemonade perform hydrate shot, my electrolyte shot. I had the strawberry blackcurrant one the other day. It wasn't the best tasting thing I've ever had, but it does the job. It did the job. This pink lemonade, I don't know. These electrolyte shots are always quite salty because that's what they are, electrolytes. You normally get they always taste a bit salty. That one was quite sour the other day. I assume this is probably going to be the same. Anyway, let's get it down my neck, and then we can crack on. That was all right. That was all right. Trust me, it is all right. It is a bit sour, which is fine. I'm not worried about that. But the overall taste was decent. That sauce has just got me there. And then you get that little salty twang at the end. Exactly the same as that. The pink lemonade one definitely tastes better than the strawberry blackcurrant one. I would quite happily have another one of them. Quite like these little hydrate shots, especially after doing something like spin. One of my clients asked me yesterday about electrolytes. You only really need to take electrolytes after doing something like intense exercise where you sweat a lot. So you sweat a lot, and you sweat a lot of essential minerals out of the body that the body needs, and it just basically puts them straight back in. I've never even looked at the calories of these. How many calories? 13, nothing. So they're very low in calories. I did look at the calories maybe the other day. But yeah, really, these are just designed. So perfect. I've done spin this morning. Absolutely could have run my T-shirt out at the end of it. Just to be totally disgusting, this is the same T-shirt. It has now dried. I just haven't had time. I'm going to go and have a shower while I'm having my lunch before anyone goes, it's just me. It's all good. Right? I'm not sat in an office with anyone else. But yeah, so I finished my spin class about an hour ago. So yeah, just to get a shot in like that. Lovely jubbly. If you don't do lots of intense exercise, you do not need to worry about taking electrolytes. Right, let me scan up and do a top 5 this morning. Callum's in. Good morning. Number 1. Lou's in at number 2. Sheila's in at number 3. Amy's in at number 4. And Lisa's in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you very much for jumping straight on the live. It is a Fri-Weigh live. Why do we call it Fri-Weigh? Because it's client check-in day. So I say all my clients. I can't say that now. The majority of my clients check in fortnightly. But we are starting a trial today for clients to check in weekly. So I've had this over the last 6-12 months. I did 2 clients last year. I've done 4 this year, where they've been struggling a little bit, struggling for consistency. And I've just sort of said, let's move to weekly weigh-ins. Let's get a weekly weigh-in going, just to increase, a bit of accountability. All my clients know my reasonings for doing 2 weekly weigh-ins and not doing weeklies. But I thought, let's trial it a little bit. And because one of 2 clients last year that moved to weekly weigh-ins, it massively improved their consistency and their results. 1, it didn't. The 4 that have tried it this year, it's improved all their results while they were struggling. And you might like, why don't you just do permanent 1 weeks? Because those same clients, I have moved back to fortnightlies, and the results have cracked on. It just short term got them back into a swing, kind of thing. So anyway, we're trialing it with a few different clients over the next 8 weeks. And if the trial goes well, and what am I looking for? The clients that have come on board are clients. I'd say the clients that are taking part in the trial, I would actually say, 5 are maybe being a little bit inconsistent. Couple of them are actually doing fine, but they just feel it could be beneficial. They just maybe want to trial it themselves, which is absolutely fine. So it'll be interesting. So the ones that are struggling, that are maybe struggling for a little bit of consistency, and they might not even be struggling for results on the scales, they just feel like maybe things are slipping a little bit, maybe getting a little bit complacent. We'll see. And if it does improve their results, and then I'll put them back to 2 weeklies, and if their results carry on being pretty decent, right, then I'm going to introduce it as a kind of a second plan option. So you can sign up to maybe a standard plan and then maybe a premium. I don't know what to call it, to be honest with you. Not a premium plan, but you stand up to a 2 weekly or 1 weekly to sign up. So you might be like, do you know what? I'm really struggling at the moment, Neil. I want to come on board. And I think and then if you sign up to my monthly plan, like monthly subscription, but with weekly weigh-ins, it'll only be for the first 3 months. After 3 months, we'll then move to fortnightly, right? Or you can just go into, no, I just need a bit of extra accountability and support. I'm happy to stay with fortnightly. So something like that. I might do that, or I might just use it as an option for clients that maybe are struggling a little bit for consistency. Say, look, if you want to, we could up you to weeklies for 6 weeks or for 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Hopefully get your motivation, or your consistency up a little bit, and then we'll put it back forward. I don't know. So, I'm always trying to adapt and adjust and, improve things a little bit for my clients and the support that they get. And, like I say, there's plus and minuses to everything. There's plus and minuses to Weighing Weekly. For me personally, I think there's more minuses than pluses Weighing Weekly in a way, right? But the minuses of Weighing Weekly can be eradicated by checking in with me, because I'm a coach and I'm there to eradicate those weaknesses. There's plus and minuses to weighing in fortnightly. And I think the pluses outweigh the minuses. But again, if you're working with me, you've got me as a coach to sort out any minuses that there might be. Anyway, that's it. So, we've got a few guys starting on. So it's Fri-Weigh. So we've got the majority of my clients are still on fortnightly. I work with about 150 active clients at a time, and 143 of those are on fortnightlies, and we've took 7 on the trial. I was opening up 10 spaces, but 7 have come on board. So that's enough. That'll do for me. So yeah, we're all good. So it is Fri-Weigh. Fri-Weigh. So for some clients, it's going to be Fri-Weigh every Fri-Weigh. And for others, it's going to be Fri-Weigh every other Fri-Weigh. Stop saying Fri-Weigh now. All right. Debs, good morning. Callum, July's flown by. It really, really has. The month, do you know what? June dragged a bit for me. And I think it's because we had a holiday at the end of June. And it was just like, and I was ready for my holiday. I was tired. Like, I was mentally tired, not physically tired. I was mentally tired. I was ready for a bit of a reset. And that's what it's done, I've been right on it since I got back. So I'm all good with that mentally. I think August might drag a little bit because we've got another holiday now at the end of August where we're off to Benidorm for my birthday for a few days. So I think August might drag a little. I don't know. We've got quite a lot going on in August, Mira. We've got something on like now most weekends. We tried not to, but sometimes you've just got to, we've just sort of bit the bullet a little bit, booked a few bits in. We've got quite a couple of social occasions in August, a couple of other bits and pieces every weekend going on in August. Then it's bank holiday, isn't it? We've got another bank holiday in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. So end of August we've got a bank holiday, though I'm not actually going to take it as a bank holiday because I go away a few days afterwards. I'm going to semi-work on the bank holiday Monday. So I'm going to do a live in the morning for you guys. I'll be doing a live in the morning, and I will be doing a bit of work, probably just till dinner time, and then take the afternoon off with Rach. She can have a lie in. I can do a bit of work, and then So that might August might drag a little bit, but we'll see. Tracy May on Facebook. Good morning. Right, let me scan up, see if I've missed anything. I need a kickstart, James. Do you know what, James? A lot of us are way too quick to be very harsh on ourselves. We never give ourselves enough praise when we're doing well. And I've noticed that actually with a couple of clients. I've got a few clients in the last 3-4 weeks that, maybe haven't been getting the results that they want. Maybe things are slipping a little bit for several reasons. And they're really being hard on themselves over it. Sometimes we have to accept for 2, 3, 4 weeks, things might not go right. I've been on this journey for 11 years now. And has it just been super smooth all the way? Absolutely not. No, it hasn't. I've had weeks where, times where, maybe my eating's not been the best. And it can just be circumstance. Sometimes we overthink things. Now, and I get it because, again, we have a very unhealthy relationship with weight loss at times. And it can be very easy to switch that mindset. But, I've had, and the thing is, I've got the data. This is the beauty of, my one-to-one plan, checking in with me. All the data is there written down. The data doesn't lie. The scales don't lie. Your watch doesn't lie. Your measurements don't lie. And all these people, I say all these people, probably got about 4, maybe 5 clients recently, actually this week or last couple of weeks, they'd be like, I'm really struggling this and that. I'm like, well, and I've been struggling and I'm like, don't get me wrong. They might have just been bumbling through. So although they've only just highlighted to me that they might have been struggling and they've lost every, on their check-ins since, say, May, it might, like I say, weight loss should never be a chore. So although you've got the results on your progress sheet, if it's been like a real tough grind to get those results, I kind of get that. But, I've got my WhatsApp, so I've got all the check-ins there. And these clients that are struggling, I've gone back through their check-ins, I've gone back through their progress sheet, and there's absolutely no signs of this other than recently. So when my clients come on and are like, come to, oh, I'm just slipping, everything's been going wrong at the moment. And I'm like, no, I said, and sometimes I can see signs of self-sabotage where we look for a reason to beat ourselves up. And then when we beat ourselves up, that brings our mood down. When our mood comes down, that can then trigger emotionally. And it kind of can spiral out of control. But, we do panic way too quickly sometimes when things are. And I get it because, we're so desperate to lose weight. And this is why this panic sets in. It's the desperation of wanting to achieve what we've never achieved. If you've been trying to lose weight for the last 25 years and you're actually doing pretty good. Now, I'm loving the fact that my clients are opening up a bit more and saying that they're struggling, because too many people just disappear into obscurity. They're just literally like, they start struggling, they start feeling like this, then I don't hear from them ever again. And then suddenly they'll message me in 6 months' time, can I get back on plan? Can I do this? And they've gone from 18 stone to 14 stone, and next thing they're back to 18 stone. Yeah. And this is the roller coaster of weight loss that we're desperately trying to get off. It happens. I'm out of control with some of those things at times. I can only do so much. But clients that always keep reaching out, always stay accountable, whatever's going on, whether they're coasting and everything's going brilliantly or whether they're really struggling, they message me directly, they keep checking in with me on the social media lives, they jump on our private community lives. Those are the ones that, in the grand scheme of things, are going to have long-term success, because they are still being, they might not realize it, but they're still being accountable, and they're still telling me that they want this journey, because if they didn't, they would disappear. Does that make sense? Tracy, mate, I've been working with you for 2 years, and last year I've been cruising along. But January something clicked as I needed to lose weight for surgery, and Neil's been fab, over 2 stone off now since then. Yeah, Tracy's too. And again, it's not a smooth road. Even working with a coach, sometimes I'm not a miracle cure. I'm genuinely not. And I was speaking to a client yesterday, James. He won't mind me talking about this. Me and Chaddy have worked together for it. He signed up in November 2021. And I'm not going to go through any personal things that he's gone through over the last few years, but he's had his ups and downs. And we've worked together, and he's got AWOL, and he's come back, and he's had periods where he's continued checking in, but he's gained weight back, and this, that, and the other. It has been a struggle. Recently, he's changed a couple of things in his life in the last 12 months that have changed his life, right? For the better, that have really changed his life. And now, what we've seen this year is the knock-on effects of those changes and how it's affecting his weight loss. And me and Chaddy are coming up working together for 4 years. He's one of my oldest clients that I've worked with the longest time. And really, it's only this year I've seen a dramatic change in him, right? But it's took like 3 and a bit years to get to this point. And I spoke to him yesterday. We actually did a one-to-one chat. If you are on my one-to-one plan and you want a private phone call with me, you can book one in. There is a small cost for it. But me and Chaddy sort of have in fact, I think we've only done, we sort of normally do a one-to-one sort of natter every 3 to 6 months or something like that. And it might be the first one this year, maybe, one-to-one, other than checking in through WhatsApps and stuff and messaging through WhatsApps. But just the way he was speaking, I can see it totally different, and he's going to smash it. I'm quietly confident in that, right? You can just tell with some people when their mindset truly changes. He's the lowest he's ever been on plan. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not. We have this desperation, and sometimes it's not a quick fix. It's been a work in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress. But for him, it's been a work in progress for just over 3 years to get to the point where he's now got everything, all these all these, he's opened the combination, he's put all these pieces into the puzzle. It's took 3 years to do that. But yeah, yesterday we've had several conversations over the years, and I'm chuffed for him because I see a lot of him in me at times. When I work with males that have had quite severe weight issues, I do. You've got to resonate with that a little bit, and yeah, he's like I say, when I've spoke to him several times over the years, and yeah, the way we talked yesterday was just light years ahead from where he was when we started in 2021, and that's all good. So what I'm trying to say there is, it's not, we panic very, very short term. Has been, we panic very, very short term with things, and sometimes we do that. Desperation does it sways us a little bit, and then but we'll all get there in the end, as long as you don't give up. I'll never give up on you. I never will. Again, a client messaged me this morning saying, thanks for not giving up on me. I never will. I never will. I'll never give up on you. If you don't give up on me, I'll never give up on you. Right? And we'll get there in the end, Right, let me scan up. Katie, good morning. Dodgy morning, mate. Karen H, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I need a holiday, but my bank account says no. My bank account says no, Callum. But I still flipping book him because I'm an idiot. Right? Your bank account will be much healthier than mine is. But to be fair, the next holiday we've got coming up, TUI have paid for it because I've just used my compensation that I got from our last holiday. Other than spending money, right? But Rachel's going to pay for 1 day spending money because it's my birthday. So I've only got 3 days worth of spending money, which is fine. Benidorm's not expensive. And I've been doing a lot more spin classes recently, and my spin money is my holiday money, so that's going into my pot, and that's paying for Tenerife. So I'm all right. But yeah, it's I need to get away. I need it to shut my brain down. Right? I really, really struggle. In fact, I've just reached out this morning. I'm going to go for a private ADHD assessment. I think I've been contemplating it. Me and Rach have been. I think Rach can have one as well. I think we're both. When you see a lot of things on social media and this, that, and the other, and I was talking about. I did this on a live about emotional eating and about emotional emotional eating. I said one of my biggest triggers for emotional eating throughout the years has been rejection. It's been a massive trigger of mine, rejection. And, I've stemmed it from my dad rejecting me as a kid. And when I say rejecting me, it's always hard. Some people might, I never know who's watching my lives. Obviously, my YouTube, Facebook lives are recorded, so they can be watched back whenever you want to watch it. And some people that might have known me for a lot of years might think, you always had your dad was a good guy. You didn't live with, and you're not in here. So it's hard sometimes. It's like when I talk about how the struggles I had, when I was overweight. And a lot of my friends said, we just didn't realize what you were going through. I said, no, because I hid a lot of it. But yeah, with my daddy, his rejection for me wasn't the fact that he wasn't there for me in a way. It was the fact that he never showed like any love. He never showed any interest in me, and things like my schoolwork and it was just, I just had this constant desire to want to please him, and he just had no interest. And I realised that was an issue with him. But then me and Rachel have talked about it, and then she sort of said, you suffer with rejection sensitive dysphoria. I was like, what the friggin' hell's that? And she said it's linked very heavily to ADHD, where if you feel rejection for whatever reason, it can cause so many different, emotional responses in your body that you just can't personally deal with. And that's why we use coping mechanisms, because we have things going on in here that we can't deal with. So we need distractions from it. My distraction was food. Now, I'm not saying that was the only negative emotion, but as I read more different things, like we've got the internet, it's an amazing thing. Don't worry, there's a lot of crap on the internet. I'm not saying that. But as you read more things, I'm like, it just so many things resonate with me. I'm like, that just makes perfect sense because the rejection started. But I've had loads of like situations over the years where, yeah, and I've worked on that massively in the last 10 years. But anything like rejection where you didn't get picked for sport teams at school. And it might sound so stupid, but it used to play on my mind for like ages afterwards. If I never, if I made really good friends with someone and I never got invited to their house at night time, yet other people would get invited to their house at night time. And, I always made the effort to invite mates, as a young kid or even at high school. And then, or if I found out, like, I'd go to school on Monday and it'd be like my friend circle that I used to sort of hang around with. I'd be like, oh, you have a good weekend? Yeah, we'll just play five-a-side. I was like, why didn't I get invited to five? Like, and do you know what I mean? And it's like, and it was nothing personal. Like, all my mates used to live, when I was at high school, pretty much in Garstang, which is the high school I went to. And I live about 8 or 9 miles away from that. So it was just, they obviously saw themselves a lot more. And sometimes it could just be an off the cuff thing, like they bump into each other. It's not like, I'm talking, this is like mid-90s. No one was texting each other saying, oh, do you fancy going? It was just like, you all actually, oh, do you fancy getting a fight? Yeah, we'll get the fight. Like that. And it was just an off the cuff thing. And by the time they'd phoned me and I'd got a lift all the way down there, it just wasn't worth it. But I took it so, they didn't want me. They put me out of there. So, yeah, so I think, like I say, and I think with that, I just think it's, the more I read up about ADHD, and don't get me wrong, when it first started coming about, the term and this and that, I used to fob it off all the time. It's kids with ADHD, they're just little sods. You know what I mean? They just, and don't get me wrong, I think sometimes we use too many things as a shelter. Like, yes, you might have a kid that has ADHD and that might enhance their behavioral or worsen their behavioral issues. But whether they're still being they still can have boundaries and they can still be told, but then it's just his ADHD. So yeah, but you can still you can still correct him on it or them on it, him or her on it. So I think sometimes we use it too much as a shelter. I'm not trying to trigger anyone when I say that. It's just my own personal opinion. But I'm also now very aware of and like I say, the more I read up on it, and there's also some massive links between ADHD and obesity. There are some big links on that. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for a diagnosis. And I think it'll just answer some questions. Because I think, if they say, no, you're not, I'll be like, all right, okay, it's just me, who I am as a person, or maybe it's just, this, that, and the other. But then, sometimes you can try and work on things and it's just very, very hard to improve them. And I think if you get that diagnosis, it answers a lot of questions. So yeah, so it's not cheap. It's about 700. The place I'm looking at is about 750 quid for an hour. I should have been a psychiatrist, but it's a proper thing. It's like absolutely proper sort of thing. So I'll keep in touch. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I've sent the inquiry off this morning, so I'll keep you informed. And again, I think it'll improve. If I get a diagnosis, yes or no, it'll improve me as a coach as well, because it might be something that I can then use as another experience where I can talk to others about it. Anyway, I'll keep you informed. I think you'll focus on positivity this year for your own journeys, boosting us all, though. Do you know what, Karen? I'm glad you said that, because I do want to always come across as a role model. I should do. I'm your coach. We always have people that we look up to, and we put, and don't get me wrong, there's always pluses and minuses to that. So there's a lot of pressure on me, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know how long anyone's ever worked with me. I'll hold my hands up. I was really focused 2021. When I retired from one-to-one personal training, I don't think my focus 22, 23 was the best, and I feel like I was probably bumbling a little bit, talking about a lot of the issues that you guys struggle with. I still struggle with myself at times, convincing myself I'm doing better than I am, convincing myself things aren't, last year, I felt more like if I could go back through, last year, I felt more like probably I would say 2015 Neil, right? 2015 Neil. I was doing all right, losing a little bit. I kind of classed that I plateaued in 2015 rather than lost about a stone or so, but we're still accountable. We're still on it. This year, I feel like 2016 Neil. 2016 Neil was probably my best focus year for my weight loss. It wasn't the year that I lost the most weight, but I feel it was the year I was like on it, really on it. 2017 was a little bit up and down. 2018, 2019, too strict. I went the opposite way. I was like, because I was personal training, and yeah, I kind of went a bit too obsessive with certain things. Again, it's all a learning curve. But yeah, I do feel I have been a better role model for you guys this year. But I also need you guys, whether you're on plan with me, just in my community, or you just follow me on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I also need you guys to also have patience with me, because I'm never going to be the finished article myself. I'm still on my own journey. I've still got my own struggles. So it is kind of like, at times, I'm never going to be perfect. But again, I will always try and be honest with you with that one. I'll never try and mask it on purpose. Will I sometimes mask it because, just like you guys, I get people that come on my lives and, I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm doing this, I'm doing everything amazing, but the scales aren't moving. Yeah, we do that. The brain, again, plays tricks on us. Tracy on Facebook, is it necessary to take collagen? No. Just seen so much on social media, it does nothing for weight loss. Collagen does absolutely nothing for weight loss. I don't know what you see on social media. Collagen is great for your skin. It's great for your hair. It's great for your bones. It is classed as a protein. It's not a complete protein, so it won't do anything in terms of muscle building or retaining muscle or anything like that. It's a totally different protein compared to like protein that's in chicken. Will it add? Will it be as satiate? Why we eat protein on a weight loss journey? The main reason, not the only reason, but the main reason why we is for satiate, is to fill us up, right? Does collagen protein have the same, satiety levels as protein from chicken, meat, veggies? I honestly don't 100% know the answer, but I can't honestly see why it wouldn't. So what I mean by that, I've seen some people say, yeah, I have a 40-gram protein shake in the morning, 30 grams whey protein, and then 10 grams of collagen. And I'm like, okay, but in terms of once the satiety's gone, the collagen protein has no bioavailability. So bioavailability is how we judge how the body can use something, right? And in terms of protein, different proteins have different bioavailabilities. So basically, the highest bioavailability of all protein is whey protein. So if I have a whey protein shake, my body will pretty much use all that protein for building muscle, for looking after my, strengthening joints and this, that, and the other. It will use a lot. Whereas protein from something like peas or broccoli, the bioavailability is about 70%. So if you have 30 grams of protein from broccoli, your body's only going to use about 20, maybe just over 20 grams of it, right? But collagen has no the body won't, like I say, it will absorb it, and it improves your skin, it improves your hair, it improves bone density, right? It's quite good for bone density and joint things. But in terms of the main reason why I want protein, which is to look after our muscles, it's not the best, and it certainly isn't essential for weight loss. When you see so much on social media, it's essential for weight loss. Are those the people that go, "Here's collagen protein. This is what I use. It's essential for weight loss. If you want it, click the yellow link. Add it to your mouth." Like, is it a TikTok shop thing? because everything's essential on TikTok Shop to make you buy it. Yeah. So, or is it Tracy, some like proper medical professional or nutritionalist or dietitian saying it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they always speak the truth. They don't, right? Loads of them don't do anything. But yeah, no, it certainly isn't. The more we learn to understand ourselves, the better. Self-development is always a good investment, 100%. 100%. You've got to find your own way sometimes. I'm always very clear on this. All the advice I give, Sarah's just come on, starting the one-to-one plan on Monday. All the advice I give, everything that's in your plan, calorie structures, step progression plans, they're guides. They're simply guides, and it's advice to obviously improve, and in my eyes, it's a great way for the majority of people to look at calories, great way to structure their eating, great way to improve their overall movement. But in all honesty, we have to find what works for us as well, in a way. So I might say, I don't recommend doing that. But if you've been doing it for the last 18 months and it's working great, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Again, Chaddy, who I was talking about yesterday, we've worked together 4 years, he was telling me, I don't know if I got the gist. I think I got the gist of this, but he calls it his calorie countdown. So again, this isn't the way I look at calories, and it's not but if it works for him, it works for him. He basically has been checking in weekly with me. He's one of the clients actually that's moved on to weeklies. And then that's going to end for him next week. And then we've sort of zoned him out. We've given him a phased return to fortnightly. So he's done about 8 to 10, no, maybe about 12 weeks on weekly weigh-ins. And then the last 4 weeks, he sent a check-in every week, but I've only responded to every other one. So he's weighed and sent it over, but he's not got feedback from me, right? It's just for his own personal accountability to send it over to me to log, right? And then he's going on holiday next week. So next week will be his last weekly check-in, and then he's going to move back to fortnightlies. Yeah, he was telling me about this calorie countdown. So I think he does his higher calories at the start of the week. He weighs on a Friday morning. He sees Friday as the start of his week, which is absolutely fine, right? Well, I don't recommend it. I always think a week is Monday to Sunday, right? And weighing on a Friday isn't the start of your week or the end of your week. It's just a very good random day it's just a very good day to get an accurate, it's just a day that's very good to get an accurate result on the scales. That's why we choose a Friday. I'd rather client checking day be a Tuesday, right? No one ever wants their hardest day of the week and their busiest day and, on a Friday, right? On a Friday, you want a poet's day. I don't get that, but it's just a great day to weigh, right? But he does this calorie countdown. So what he does is he'll have higher calorie days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it's kind of the weekend. And then he has his weekly calories, which is 19,250. And then he deducts his daily calories off that and then divides it by the days he's got left. So he can kind of see his average go down, but in a way, he knows he's got a little bit more each day if he wants it. So this is how I got it. So let's say his daily, so he's on 19,250 calories, which is 2,750 calories a day, I think. Yeah, right. So he's on 2,750 a day, right? So let's say 19,250, and let's say he has 9,000 calories. So 3,000 Saturday, 3,000 3,000 Friday, 3,000 Saturday, 3,000 Sunday. Right, that means he's got 10,250 left, right, for the week and 4 days left. So he can then go 10,250 and divide that by 4. And it's like, right, on average, I've got 2,560 calories a day now, right? And then let's say Monday he has 2,750, right? So that means he's got 8,000. So then he'll divide 8,000 by 3 and go, right, my daily average now is 2,000 and this. I don't think I've quite done that right. I might have done. Anyway, and then he might have 3,000 again on Tuesday, which means he's got, and then he's like, right, my daily average. I think that's the way he was looking at it. It's just something different. But if it works for you, and you end up on your last day of the week, which is a Thursday, and you've only got 1,800 calories, which is quite low. You've got 1,800 calories, and that's what you've got to work with. But then Friday comes around, and it's a full reset. I never like paying for anything on a credit card, is how I describe it with calories. I like to bank calories during the week, and then what I've saved up during the week, that is my spending money for the weekend. If we buy things on tick and we're having to pay it back all the time, in a way, you feel like you're chasing your tail all the time, right? And we never want to be chasing our tail on a weight loss journey. I never want to feel it's just hard work. It just feels like it's hard work. So what I mean by that is, if you were, if how I do I have 2,600 calories a day on average. And all I do is I look at Monday to Friday, those are banking days. And whatever I'm under Monday to Friday, it is then what I take into the weekend. Some weeks I'll take 2,000 calories into the weekend. So last weekend I took 2,800 in. That just gives you, and I never try and go, but one thing I always try and do is I always try and bank something during the week, whether it's 50 calories. Yesterday we went to Nando's for tea, and my tea was 1,268 calories, right? We then went to M&S afterwards, and we got the new stuffed cookies, right, from M&S. We got all three, and I had a quarter of each one. Well, one cookie's 450 calories. So I had, 300 odd calories worth of cookie. So I actually ate nearly 1,600 calories yesterday. Now, I'd only eaten about 850 calories up to that point. So I had the calories in it, but I had 2,450 calories yesterday. So I only banked 150 calories. I say only, it's still banking something. I'm under my daily average, but that's I've had a bit of food freedom yesterday, but I still banked at the end of it. It's just a little bit less. And from me having 2,450 yesterday, whereas normally on a Thursday I might have 2,100, it just means going into the weekend, my calories are going to be, I'm probably going to take 2,001, 2,000, 2,200, calories into the weekend. Whereas like last weekend, I took 2,800, talking to the man, Chaddy. I think that's him because it's just initials, but his initials are JC. This has been a big switch. Was always focused on weight loss by a certain event. If I plan to go to the gym 4 times a week, then miss one, I'd feel like a failure and fall off the plan. I don't know if Chaddy ever went to the gym, so that might not be. Now looking at calories over a week instead of daily and understanding it's a long-term switch has really helped. That might not be him. I don't think he ever went to the gym. I think looking at calories weekly and daily there's certain parts of my plan that are big game changers. And looking at calories weekly rather than daily, I think is a massive game changer. Always looking at averages rather than looking at set numbers is a big, whether that's steps or calories, I think is a big game changer. I think not demonizing food in any way, shape, or form is a big game changer. And that is part of my plan. I encourage my clients to enjoy some unhealthy foods. Nothing's unhealthy diets, not unhealthy foods, but what we would class as unhealthier foods or less nutrient dense foods. I enjoy I encourage my clients a day or two, or not a day or two. Loads of people ask me, what do you think of cheat days? You're cheating nothing. If it fits in with your calories, right? Where you're cheating nothing, whether it's a 1,200 calorie pizza or it's a 500 calorie chicken wrap, it fits in your calories, it fits in your calories. Again, parts of my philosophies around weight loss is, don't use negative words around food, and this is why I get not triggered with people on like Facebook, so I'm writing that down. I always write stuff down as I go along, think, I could do some content on that. Don't use negative words around food, and this is why these people, a guy the other day was like just slating food up. He just literally called and said, "Oh, you eat loads of processed food." I said, "I actually don't." I said, I eat 35 times a week, right? And I probably post, a ready meal once, 7 or 8 times a week. That's a ready meal or something like that. So even if I did eat all the stuff I posted, and again, the amount that I eat doesn't cause me any health issues. So and he literally wrote that post on a wrap with chicken and a Caesar salad kit, that peri peri Caesar salad wrap thing that I did this week. And I'm just like, I said, look, you can look at this in two ways. You can look at it that it's pre-cooked chicken with a bit of seasoning on it, and it might have something added to it that gives it a slightly longer shelf life. Same with the wraps, right? And then you've got a bit of salad with a bit of sauce and a bit of cheese and some croutons. Like, you can look at it like, or you can look at it whereas it's just processed junk. But at the end of the day, I'd rather look at it my way and have a healthy relationship with food than look at it your way and have an unhealthy. And then he commented, "Oh, I'm the one with an unhealthy relationship with food. I'm not the one that's ever been morbidly, I'm not the one that's ever been 37 stone." I said, "Oh no, I used to have an unhealthy relationship with food. I used to look at food exactly the way you look at it. This is bad, this is good, this food makes me fat, this food makes me thin." I did have an unhealthy relationship with food to be 37 stone. I don't anymore. Because, I use context, I use moderation, I use balance. I understand nutrition. I understand that someone else that's cooked the chicken and added a bit of seasoning to it and a couple of little bits and pieces added to it that might give it a slightly longer shelf life, in the grand scheme, doesn't cause me any health issues, right? It genuinely doesn't. And if you think it does, please tell me. No one ever responds to that. That's a big thing about. I've never had one response, not one. Right? I monetized my Facebook 12 months ago, and this year I've really jumped on it because it's a little extra income for which I didn't realize was there until I just started posting on it a few more. I was like, oh, this is a little bit of an extra income. We'll crack on with this. And I have probably written this 100 times in 2025. On any comment says, that's just processed junk, that's poison. And I literally write, in what do you class that's poison in this thing? And in the and whatever it is, in the quantities that is consumed in the product, please tell me the health complications it will cause. I've not had one response. Not one. Right? I have not had people not even trying. When you ask people to justify why a mashed banana is one sin, and there's about 10 different, people come up, people can't even approach it. Or people just can't even approach it. I've had a response where people have tried to deflect from it and then just get personal or just do this or just do that. And, oh, if you need telling that, then you don't know anything. Classic, you haven't got a flipping clue, so I'll put it on you. Classic narcissistic ways. I don't actually know, but I'll make it a you issue rather than a me issue. And I said, you're not answering my question. And yeah, I do need to know that, Max. I'm stupid. Please tell me. No response. Because people don't know. They're just Chinese whispering. They'll see some Burke in a supermarket going, this is junk food, don't eat it, putting it back on the shelf. And straight away, because they've got a six-pack or, they've got a bit of an authority about them because they shout at cameras and swear a lot, people just think, oh, well, that's junk food. Tell me about this junk food. I have had a couple of people point out, I had a comment a couple of months ago where the comment was post the ingredients list. So I did, right? So I screenshotted it and the next comment was 4 in thiamine and niacin, again, poison. I was like, that's vitamin B. That's like one of the technical terms for vitamin B, like the scientific terms for it. So you're telling me that having vitamin B added to a product when such a large percentage of the UK population are vitamin B deficient, you're telling me that's a bad thing? No response. No response whatsoever. So it is, people's mindsets around eating and food and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I never use any negative connotations around food. Sometimes I slip and I try and correct myself. but we don't have cheat days, we have treats. I don't go and buy an expensive pair of trainers and say I've cheated my bank account. I'm going to treat myself to some new trainers this weekend. There you go, straight away. We have, more nutrient dense food, an apple. We have less nutrient dense food, a Freddo. We should try and eat more nutrient dense food than less nutrient dense food. But in terms of weight loss, as long as your calories are right, you'll lose weight. Doesn't mean you're going to be the healthiest person in the world. Do you want to be the healthiest person in the world? I want to be healthy. I don't want to be the healthiest person in the world. And to be healthy, you don't need to eat a diet that is 100% made up of health foods. You don't, let me scan and refresh. I've been checking in tomorrow. Neil was at work this morning. Not a problem at all. I will be doing a bit of work tomorrow. I'm going to sign off as usual at 12 p.m. So, if Rachel's feeling a bit worse for wear after a night out tomorrow, I'm going to try and get to the gym a little bit earlier and do a live in the car, and then I'll go and do my spin class. And then when I get back from spin, I'll probably try and get in here for about 10:30, 11. Taking my mum out for lunch at 12:30, so I'll need to walk the dogs and get a shower. But I'll be in here for an hour or so tomorrow. So, as always, guys, with a standard weekend for me, any check-ins, if you do check in over the weekend, that's fine. Any check-ins that come in after 12 p.m. on a Saturday, any messages, any emails, I'll respond to Monday so I can have a day off or a day and a half off. But anything that comes in the morning, when I get in the office here for an hour or two tomorrow morning, I will tick them off, not a problem at all. Alexis, hi boss, how are you? I'm very, very good, thank you very much. I'm really good. I'm very, very good indeed. Right, I've got to go. I was meant to come off at 11:45, and it's now 11:55. So, yes, we are out of here. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. I might be back tomorrow morning. It will just be on TikTok. That's all good for you guys. If you do just follow me on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok as well. If you're on Planner in the community, I'll broadcast it out, or I'll put it in there. If I've not quite added you, if you're brand new and I've not added you to my broadcast list yet, I'm going to go through today and catch up on some admin and get. There's a few people that have signed up in the last week or so that are on my broadcast list. I'll add you in there today. But if not, I will also put it in the WhatsApp. So make sure you're part of the announcement. Make sure you're part of the WhatsApp community. You can be part of the WhatsApp community without being part of any of the groups. I know the groups are busy, and I know you get a lot of notifications. Well, don't turn your notifications off, right? JC, I know what it is now. I've got so many. I've got 4 JC clients, and JC's my mate. I'm not saying my clients aren't my mate, but I was like, because I was talking about a JC online. I was like, is that a JC on there? I don't know about that. It is now. How you good, mate? I'm going. I'll be. What will I be doing? I've lost my train of thought now. I might be on TikTok in the morning. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, make sure you follow me on TikTok, and then you can come on the live in the morning. If you're on Planner in the community, I'll broadcast it out. If not, I'll put it in the WhatsApp community. If you're not part of the WhatsApp, I know the groups are dead busy. Mute them. Mute the groups. They'll do your head in because you'll get a million notifications. You don't need to keep up with everything in the groups. You can just dip in and out when you want to. But you can be not in the groups, but be part of the WhatsApp community. And I always put announcements in the WhatsApp community, like when I'm going live, or I'll try and put some links on from YouTube if I post new videos, stuff like that. So I'll also put it in there if you're not on the broadcast list. Right, I'm out of here. TikTok, I'll see you later. Might be back tomorrow. If not, I'll see you Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. And Facebook, YouTube, I might be back tomorrow. No, I won't be back tomorrow. If I am on a live, it will just be on TikTok. So I will definitely be back Facebook, YouTube, 8:30 a.m. Monday morning.